All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for LinkedIn Live. I am here with the fabulous Brynne Tillman, who is the ultimate LinkedIn insider. She's got lots to talk about. There's so much stuff going on LinkedIn. I asked her before we came on, I said, where do I start with introducing you? You have so many things happening. And I would love for her to share a little bit about that with you all. I met her a little while ago. She had me as a guest on her fabulous podcast, and we had such a good time. I said, hey, come and be my guest. So here we are. So Brynne, you go ahead and introduce yourself better than I could, because I wouldn't know where to start or end.
And I appreciate that. And most people won't care about me till the end. So I'll keep it simple.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, okay, get to the meat. But I help trust-based conversations get started on LinkedIn and with AI without being salesy. So really, I just work with anyone who's in a revenue generation role or business development role to start those authentic conversations.
So I love that, because as a small business owner myself, I have to say, like, that's the one thing. And I know that there's lots of other people out there like me. So talk to me a little bit about that, because I don't want to sound, that whole world salesy is just, yuck. So talk to me about how does that work with not sounding salesy?
No, I love that question. And here's the thing. We have to earn the right to get the conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Salesy is, hey, let me tell you about all the great things I do. Hey, let me tell you about the client I worked with that's just like you. Hey, let me ask you for a 15-minute conversation or to send you a free report when I have no idea why I even care about that report, right? Those are the things that we think as salespeople, or as even as a CEO or an entrepreneur who's responsible for business development, because we think that's valuable. We think they think that's valuable, and it's not. What matters to them is very different than what matters to us. So I want to start with the mindset. Top of the funnel mindset is lead to your solution, not with it. When you lead to your solution, you're providing value, and value is in the eye of the consumer. Sure. And you're earning the right for them to want to connect with you, to want to engage with you, to, willing to have a conversation because they got so much value from the engagement that they trust that conversation will be of more value.
I love that. So you're not leading with the thing that you, as the business person, you're not leading with your offer.
Yeah, nobody cares about that. They might care how you can help them solve a problem. But in today's world, if you just tell them you can help them solve the problem, they don't believe you. You have to start by helping them solve that problem. And it might be just getting them to think a little bit differently about the way they're doing things today. If you make a little switch in there, ooh, I haven't thought of things that way. That's how we start to earn the right to get the conversation. And actually, there are 5 points. I'm going to rattle them fast if you want to go deeper. The first thing that our social selling content needs to do, if in fact we're using that to start trust-based conversations, is we need to resonate with our audience. They need to know as they're scrolling that this content is for me. In the same first sentence, we need to create curiosity. So in the first sentence, and you can flip-flop, but it's in the first line, you need to resonate and create curiosity. Once you've done that, you've earned the right for them to keep reading. So now that they are continuing to read, and by the way, this is also for your profile and for messages and for email. Anything that you are looking to convert to a conversation should hit these points. Okay, so resonate, create curiosity. The next piece is you need to teach them something new. If you are telling them something they already know, they're gone. So I was working with an amazing client yesterday, and she has a wonderful niche in mortgages where she works directly with realtors that are working with non-citizen executives and doctors that are here on work visas, that she could get them mortgages for homes where it's almost impossible anywhere else. So the value is not, hey, if you're working with a non-citizen executive, I can help you. The value is, if you are working with a non-citizen executive, here are 3 things you need to do with them before you apply for a loan. And now that I said it, I'm just going to shout out to Dana Russo, because that's who. Right.
I know Dana.
Right. But that is like, that's the way we have to start thinking. Instead of saying, here's how I can help you with your non-citizen home buyer, actually bring value. And they'll say, wow, no one else is talking about that. Number 4 is, now that I learned something new, I'm thinking about this client in a different way. I'm thinking about this solution in a different way. I'm taking a different approach, whether I'm actually taking that approach or I'm thinking about it in a way that's leading me closer to your solution. Because I never even knew this thing, right? So I'm going to go back. So it's resonate, create curiosity, teach them something new that gets them thinking differently about their current situation. And number 5 is, it needs to create a compelling moment. We need to move them from lurker to engager, from lurker to connection. We need to pull them out of the woodwork, because we can't start a conversation with them unless we know they're there.
I love that. Those lurkers.
Yeah. How do we get them? And we get
them. And we've all been lurkers ourselves.
Oh, I lurk.
Full disclosure.
I'm much more of a lurker than an engager, because that content has to earn the right to get me to want to engage. I will tell you though, what gets me most engaged are the one-click poll votes. Not because I'm all excited to share my vote, but because I want to see how other people voted. And LinkedIn is very smart. You can see how many people voted, but you can't see how they voted until you vote.
So now that's a hot tip.
Yeah. So putting out a poll, again, that's not leading with your solution, but is leading to your solution, can be a very powerful way of getting those lurkers to convert to engagers, because it's just a one-click vote.
Brynne, I know I've learned a lot of new things from you today, and that's number 1. I'm going to use that, and anybody listening needs to do that, because that's coming from the inside.
Yeah, no, I'll just add, yes, and that tip, and say, if you click on the little paper airplane at the bottom right, you can send this up to 10 people blind copied at a time. So I can go out and I can search for my, whomever it is that I'm looking to search for. I make a list of the 100 people and I send this 10 times and just say, hey, as a non-resident executive, I'd love your one-click vote on, are you,
right,
whatever it is, right? Like, and so you start to engage those folks. Or as a realtor, do you ever, what are the types of people that you work with? Are they non-resident? Are they this, who do you like to work with the most? Who's the biggest challenge client from, someone that's overextended in credit, not enough cash down, non-resident, other sharing comments. And so then you go out to all the realtors that you want to give you business and ask them to vote on that. And now you start conversations and they want to see what other realtors are saying.
So now you really have me thinking. So let's go down that road a little bit more then. When you're talking about sending out the paper airplane email.
Yeah.
My kids made fun of me when I called that, because they were like, oh, you're so old, Mom. But it's a paper airplane. It is what it is. It's a paper airplane.
Because an old person made the icon.
Yes. Okay. So if you send those paper airplanes out to 10, 100 people, whatever it is, does that list of people, is that like your already warm list? Like, where are you getting, can you go like a little deeper there? Where are you
Yes,
getting
they
that
have
list
to be your
from?
first degree connections.
Hmm. Hmm.
But sometimes this is a great reason to connect with someone. Hey, Julie, I noticed you are an actress and that you leverage your stage skills to help people with their confidence when it comes to presentations. I would love to connect with you and ask you for a one-click vote on a poll I put out. So now you're like, oh, okay. Like that's a reason to connect. Right.
Yes.
So you connect, and now my poll is, what is the number one challenge with professionals and their confidence in presentations? And you're like, oh, this is a perfect. So you just want to make sure that the poll
Yes.
aligns with the person you're connecting with. Right.
Yes.
And so you can go down, and we call them prospect by polls, but you may have 5 different avatars that you sell to, or ICPs, or whatever you want to
Mhm.
call them, right? But
Mhm.
when you create the poll, you want to be as specific to them as possible, because that's the resonate piece.
Mhm.
This poll is for me. If you don't hit resonate, they're going to keep going. But if your poll is, are you an executive that feels insecure when having to give presentations? If so, I'd love your one-click vote.
Mm.
Now that resonates with me,
Yes.
right? Or as an executive that gives presentations, what's your level of confidence?
Mm.
Completely confident. The
Mhm.
boardroom is my jam. Okay, not a prospect for you necessarily.
Got it.
Confident with my small team, but when I have to go bigger, I get a little uncomfortable. Okay, maybe potentially an opportunity if they have a lot of those. I hate presenting in front of people. That's your prospect, right? And then I always have others sharing comments, because they may want to tell you something that they did not fit in here. And those are really great prospects for you, because this is something that they really want to talk about, because it's a high level issue that they're talking about in comments, right? And so now, how do you convert that to a conversation? So Jane, thank you so much for voting on the poll. Just want to let you know you fall into the 23 percentile of
Yeah. Yeah.
executives.
Right.
I gained a lot of clarity and insights through this poll that I'd be very happy to share with you. And because you mentioned you're a little uncomfortable in big audiences, I'm happy to add some insights that might be able to help you, even if we never work together.
Mm. You just gave a terrific script to anyone, not just for me, but anyone who's looking to take that poll from beginning to end. And it's those tricky words. How are we saying those words? And you
Yeah.
just did it like tripped off your tongue.
Yeah, well, this is my one woman show, right? Like I do it every day, a matinee and an evening show, but I don't get Mondays off.
Oh,
It's okay. I
all
know.
right.
I know.
Well, and you've got so much energy. I don't know how you would take a day off anyway, Brynne. Yeah.
Oh, I crash at night.
Okay. So let me ask you something else then. So you just gave me you gave us that whole through line. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fabulous. I'm going to go back and listen to this and take lots of notes, more notes than I'm taking right now. So tell me a little bit, maybe you already did that, but for those of us who are trying out AI in different ways, and we're a little either skeptical of it or we don't quite know. Talk to me a little bit about how that AI component fits into this or maybe the next thing. I know you're doing other things too. So however you want to take that.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I mean it's all prospecting. So I should say yes, and not no, because no doesn't work. No, I learned that. One of the things we talked about on our podcast was yes and how powerful that is, right?
There
So
we go.
yes and AI matters everywhere that you want to speed up communication and engagement. The challenge is it's often incredibly inauthentic. It feels robotic. It sounds like someone else. And sometimes the editing is harder than the initial piece, or it takes more time. So we have a framework that fixes that. And in fact, if I could, hopefully I've earned the right to say we have a book coming out that's called Prompt Writing Made Easy. So Prompt Writing Made Easy, I don't think .com is available yet, but just ping me on LinkedIn and we have a wait list. But it focuses on how do we write prompts in a way that captures our authentic voice. And it's a 6-step process. We call it the crispy framework. I love my acronyms. Okay. Context. This is the easiest one. I want to write a blog post. Whatever it is you want to write. You can add as much to this or as little as this is possible, because we're going to go deeper in a little bit. So context, what do you want to achieve? Role. What is the role of AI? This is the first of the 2 magic pieces. Do not tell AI you are a copywriter, world-class copywriter, and end it. Because now it's going to write in its own world-class copywriting concepts, right? So we're going to say, you are a world-class copywriter whom I have hired to ghostwrite my blog post in my voice.
You're getting more and more specific.
Well, I wanted to interview me, not just write on the topic. Right? So the copywriter is not going to write my copy. The copywriter is going to interview me and ghostwrite it based on my answers. So we're gonna keep moving. So, but we started right, crispy. We have the context. We have role. Next, we have inspiration, and this is where you just dump everything you want the blog to be. Just, you can verbally dump. You can turn on the microphone and just talk. I want this to engage these kinds of people, and I wanted to teach them this, and I want calls to action and all these things. At the end of this, I want them to feel like confidence is absolutely achievable. I want them to know that there is a solution to their anxiety before a presentation. I want, just all that stuff. I want them to understand how ensemble adds to the confidence, right? I want to know all the things you want to talk about, right? I'm trying to pull out your words. I know, like you know, I want to talk about the storytelling framework that makes people just engage into your content. Embrace the yes and, right? That's a mindset that you talk about. Let me see if I can think of more. I know when
no, you're doing great. So Brynne, what I love about this inspiration, I have to get this in here because you're inspiring me, is that you're talking about doing sort of a verbal dump part of it, which is fabulous, because I think one of the things that we get in our own way with is we don't talk like we write. We don't write like we talk. And if we're trying to reach an audience authentically,
yes,
I may be prejudiced because I'm all about the storytelling, but we want to talk to people like we're talking to them, not like we're reading something to them, right?
Yes. Yes. And that's what I and Crispy does. Okay. And you can say that in your inspiration. I want them to feel like we're in a conversation when they read this. Like, say that in your inspiration. Like,
I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Okay. So context, role, inspiration, scope. I want this blog post to be 250 words. I want this to be a 4-email drip over 60 days. I want this to be an 8-page ebook. Like, that has no more than a paragraph and 5 bullets on each page, right? Like, what does it physically look like is your scope. What's the scope of this project? Okay. So context, role, inspiration, scope. This is my second favorite, is prohibitions. What do we want it not to say? Do not ever start a paragraph with a prepositional phrase. In today's ever-changing world, right? Like, do not use the word delve or foster, right? Because somewhere along the line, AI, especially ChatGPT, has determined that delve was the most incredible word, and we should add it to every single sentence. When you see delve, run. It's AI. Nobody says delve. And if they say they do, they only say it because in the last year and a half, they've seen it written. They never did before. Maybe if they're from England, I don't know. Okay. I know, yeah. But generally, right? It's not a word that we would use in conversation, right? And you can even say that in prohibitions, do not use any words that I would not use in a conversation. That's a prohibition. Do not write in a way that an AI detector would pick up that this is written by AI. That's a prohibition. Do not research. Use my words only. That's a prohibition. What, right? Like, there's so much that we can do that will continue to lead this in a direction where I think the nots are as important as the do's, right? Okay. Now we turn the interviewer into an easy format, which is the Y in crispy is you. Ask me all the questions you need to complete this task one at a time. That's it. And now the interviewer that you hired it to be, to ghostwrite it for you, is going to interview you, and it will be in the genius of the award-winning copywriter, but in your brand voice, not the one that AI decided to choose. Prompt writing made easy. Available in the middle of April on Amazon.
I'm in. And my, you know, that emoji where your head's exploding, it's kind of where I am right now. This is pretty cool.
It's cool. It's really fun, and it works. And that's what I love about it. Because that's the biggest challenge, right? That is the biggest challenge we have today, is it sounds like AI. And so, and I know I've been saying for a very long time, it's the 80-20 rule. It'll get you 80% there, and you have to edit it 20%. But if we're going to put in that time, why don't we start by being interviewed? And that's where our 20% is going to, or more. It really ends up to be reversed 80-20, where it's 80% your voice, 20% ghost written.
I can't wait to take a look at this, because I have, you know, I've definitely, like many people, I'm sure we have done we all have probably learned at this point that the first place you have to start to get anything valuable out of AI is good prompts.
Right.
But this is like a whole other layer.
And there are lots of frameworks out there. I mean, this is our framework. But I mean, there are many, many frameworks out there, and a lot of them are good. But from I believe, from the easiest to implement with the most likelihood that it's capturing your brand voice is what we've put together.
So did you use AI to come up with some of this?
So that's so my colleague Bob Woods, he had the CRISP methodology, which was the beginning of it, that he came up. He took an AI class at Kellogg Business School, and I think this was his final it was a project. And so he came up with the CRISP, which was context, role, inspiration, scope, and prohibitions. And I fell in love with the prohibitions. And then, as a team and with a lot of my like just craziness, I added the why, which is ask me all the questions, and we changed the role to be that interviewer. So I would say it's just a great combination. And then, we really continue to improve that, to improve the outcome, because we really pride ourselves on helping people's authentic voice come through. And we need to leverage AI, but the challenge is it my voice or not? And we really believe that this is the framework that creates authenticity. And, it's funny, I had a blog post 2 months ago that I put out on this, and I had a couple of people say, this is so inauthentic, this AI stuff. And I'm like, read it. It's not. It doesn't have to be. Generic AI may be inauthentic, but we're changing that game.
Yeah, I'm super, super intrigued. I'm going to jump in when and see how it goes. And I will say that I'm a teeny bit, I'm from the world of the stage. So I'm about like the original storytelling, all that, like that authentic thing. You got me thinking about that.
Yeah.
And that's going to be because right now I'm using mostly my stuff. I mean, I'll have a little, use AI for little sprinkles of things, but I don't, and maybe I have a new thing to learn now to boost things up.
Yeah, the other thing you can do, and I'll try to get the transcript from our podcast, but any transcripts that you have now, right, you can say, use this transcript for inspiration. Right? So, and by the way, like I have the platform, it's called askssl.ai, that helps you really grab your authentic voice consistently, and avatars of your clients' voices and all kinds of fun things. But you can upload files and say, I want to create a blog post based on these 6 PDFs or whatever it is. I'm going to hire you as a book editor, right? To ghostwrite this. This is the foundation of the whole book. Please give me kind of an overview and then interview me to fill in the gaps, one question at a time.
This is fabulous. I have lots and lots and lots of transcripts. That's where I get my posts from, or from conversations and that. And you're speaking my language in so many ways, because you're talking about a role of, this is giving you this role. So there's what I like about all of this is it to me already, it sounds very accessible. It sounds like a bit of a journey. It sounds kind of fun. Like, it's getting my mind thinking, going, and getting me as the owner of my work to be more specific. Really.
I love that. And, for you, you could put in there, you are my director of my show, right? You're the director. I have written this script, and I want you to write it in a way that the actors can leverage it, right? In an easy, so here's your transcripts or your, but I want you to now break this down into stories that the actors can, that wouldn't be the director, that would be the screenwriter.
Yes.
There you go. I'm trying to live in your world.
You're great. It's all good. So I have to be a little bit of a devil's advocate though here. Please. So what do you say to the skeptics out there? I'll give you some of the broad things that kind of pop into my mind. That, are you going to put more writers out of business with this? Are you going to, like, what do you say to, I'm sure you've heard some of the skeptics with this.
Sure.
Right. So what do you say to any of that?
So The answer is, if you're a writer that knows how to leverage AI, no, right? You don't, as a writer, don't back out of AI. Embrace it. Use it. Interview, your folks on Zoom and leverage it. The key is the prompt. You will build the prompt that will be authentic to you as a writer, right? So
Yes.
And the whole point of this is to get your perspective. The whole point of this authentic writing is still grabbing the authentic voice that AI will never have, right? Like, as a human, you're going to have a specific perspective. So it will replace writers who do not embrace AI, but it will embrace writers who do.
That's a good one-liner.
Good. That's a new one.
I like it.
I'll have to get the transcript from you because I don't remember what I said. But so the other side of this really is, and we're not the other side of it, it's the same side. When I started in sales, it was before cell phones, before email, right? And as technology was introduced into my role, first of all, I'm like, how am I ever going to figure this out? And you do. But when I worked at my first sales job, outbound sales job at Dun & Bradstreet, I'm not joking when I say there had to be 50 bookcases of yellow pages where we would literally pull them out. They were Donnelly yellow pages. This is what they were. So whatever, yeah. And I'd pull them out, and that's how I'd find my list to prospect. I'm not kidding. That's what we did. There are no more yellow pages printed, but there are amazing directories online like ZoomInfo or RelPro, right? Where they have incredible databases. So databases didn't go away. They morphed. Right? We still need to access those yellow pages. We still need to do the Google search. Google ads will help you come up. There are a lot, there's a morphing of this. So the key is, are you going to be the next ZoomInfo of writers? Are you going to be the next online digital directory that will ultimately be invaluable? You just have to embrace how the new way is going to make what you do better, faster, stronger.
I love how you've pulled all of that together. That was amazing. And I need the written transcript of this too, because this is loaded with information. And what I want to take it back to the beginning, what you talked about, because what you're talking about isn't just, it's really for all of your, wherever you're communicating with your customers, wherever you're trying to reach your clients, that this is also, we're also talking about continuity of messaging as well, with across these platforms, which, as we know, when we're marketing and talking about our business, we want to have that consistency. This has been incredible.
Thank you.
I'm just like, you have so much. You're just like this wealth of information. I just love that you offered up this to LinkedIn and to me to do this. So I thank you for that. But before we totally wrap up here, do you want to talk a little bit more about, I need to hear the title of your book. I need to hear where we can find it. I know you said it's on pre-order, and any other nuggets that I know you have got your podcast going on. Anything else you want to mention here?
The best thing to start with is just come follow me on LinkedIn. That's it. It's called LinkedIn. Come follow me on LinkedIn. The next thing is, and I will make sure that it redirects within 10 minutes of our call now live. So if you're in replay, you'll be fine. go to promptwritingmadeeasy.com and that will get you to our wait list. And I'll throw out also, because I have so many things. I am beyond excited that so the Prompt Writing Made Easy is a small first book in a publication that's called Generations Inked. It's the first book for this publication company. But I am blessed beyond to partner with Jeb Blunt from Sales Gravy, and September 17th on Amazon, and you could pre-order this now. We have the LinkedIn Edge that is coming out from Wiley, and we're going to be in airports and have audio, dream. And that's called the LinkedIn Edge. You can find it. I don't have a link, but you could go to Amazon and look up the LinkedIn Edge and pre-order there.
Terrific. And we'll put this in the post too. Brynne, this has been amazing. I have just a lot to think about. You've given everybody just so many inside tips on what and how to leverage LinkedIn, and congratulations on publications you have coming out. This is super, super cool. I'm excited to take a look at it. And thank you for all your just terrific energy and inspiration today.
Oh, thank you. And I will just stress anyone listening, go listen to Julie on my podcast, Making Sales Social.
Oh, thank you so much. You have a great day. Take care.
Thanks.